you've watched some of my videos before, you may have heard me talk about prioritization. I tell you to prioritize tasks to do on your to-do list and how you spend your time. But what does this actually mean and how do you do it? Prioritizing is deciding and arranging things in order of importance. So to work out how to prioritize things, you need to assign value or importance to each of the things that you are looking to prioritize. I'm going to share a formula with you that outlines the exact steps you should take when looking to prioritize. Write down all of the tasks or the list of things that you're wanting to prioritize. It is important that you have everything written out so you can see all the options and don't miss any critical tasks. Next, there are a number of things that you need to consider in order to accurately prioritize the tasks on your list. I'm going to take you through them now. Number 1 is the deadlines of when you need or want to get a task completed by. Write down the deadlines next to each task on your list that you're looking to prioritize. Next, determine any interdependent tasks. So are there any items on your list or tasks that are dependent on others being completed first? This will influence the priority of your tasks, particularly if one task needs to be done before one or multiple other or even urgent tasks need to be completed. Make a little note of any interdependence tasks on your list. Thirdly, think about the amount of time that it will take to get a task done. A task may not be the most urgent to complete, but it may take a long time, which means you may need to prioritize it above other tasks and start working on it sooner. Next, consider the consequences of not completing a task. For example, if you don't complete the task, does that mean that you're failing an assignment? Or does it just mean you're having to deal with a messy room for an extra day? Lastly, and this one is optional but could be quite useful in some circumstances, is to categorize your tasks to make sure you're not focusing too strongly in one area and neglecting others. This is particularly important if you are studying, as you don't want to focus too heavily on one subject and neglect others. This may mean that you need to prioritize items from subjects that you're not focusing on up further in your prioritization. Once you have all this information, you need to consider it all to determine the priority of the tasks. This can be hard when there's so much information. So if you're unsure where to start, I would advise going through in order of what I've just explained. So, firstly, prioritize what is most urgent. Which tasks have the deadlines coming up first? Then look if there are any interdependent tasks and move the task to a higher priority than the tasks that rely on it to be completed before that next task can get started. Next, look at the time it will take to complete each task. Particularly focus on the tasks that will take the most time. Will there be enough time to complete this task before the deadline, while also doing all the other tasks that you have prioritized before it? If not, you may need to start this task before others. You may also want to break this task down into smaller tasks and then start doing some of those initial tasks earlier so that you have enough time to complete them all by the due date. The next one is really important, and that is to consider the consequence of not getting the task done. Essentially, how important is it that that task is completed? Look through your list and try to identify tasks that have a big consequence if they're not done. Think about whether these should be prioritized before other tasks that may have a sooner deadline but that aren't as important. Lastly is to consider whether you're focusing all your efforts in one area or category, and think about whether this might be too much and you need to prioritize tasks from other areas to make sure that none are being neglected. It may take some practice to get good at this, and it may take a bit of time the first time that you go through this process. But the more you do it, the easier and the quicker it'll become. All things being equal, I would recommend doing the hardest task first, as this gets it out of the way and gives you momentum to continue ticking things off that list. Once you have prioritized your tasks and start completing them, make sure you regularly reassess and reevaluate your list. Have any priorities changed? Has something become more urgent or important and needs to be assigned a higher priority? Your list should be dynamic, which means that it's constantly changing and evolving as you complete tasks or circumstances change. Make sure to remove completed tasks to get rid of the clutter on your list, which will make it easier to comprehend, assess, and prioritize. Thanks for watching today's video. Have you heard about my Study Smart course yet? The course teaches organisation, prioritisation, and time management tools to make studying easier and help you excel at school. A link to the course can be found in the description below. Please also don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.